Ever since Snapchat introduced the Snap Map feature, it's made it easier to see where your friends are at any given moment. It's a feature that can be convenient, but it also has a darker side. I used to have it enabled, mostly because I like letting my friends see that I was busy or out and about. At the time, it seemed harmless, even fun. But that was before I realized just how easily it could be abused. I'm currently in 11th grade, a junior in high school, where Snapchat is almost a requirement for social interaction. If you don't have it, your friends will likely ask why, and you might even get strange looks for not using it. Even the kids who are considered different or who sit alone at lunch have Snapchat. There's one kid in particular who fits that description. Someone I'd known since elementary school. His name is Owen. He was always a bit of a social outcast, the kind of kid who seemed to repel attention rather than attract it. No one really knew what his deal was, but everyone agreed there was something unsettling about him. One day, I got a notification on my phone. Owen Brown added you as a friend on Snapchat. I knew immediately who it was. I didn't know how he got my username, but I figured he must have seen it somewhere or asked someone for it. Out of a sense of politeness, or maybe just curiosity, I added him back. It didn't take long for things to get weird. Within minutes, Owen sent me a picture and then a video. I hesitated to open them because I knew deep down that it would be something strange. But curiosity got the better of me, and I eventually clicked on the messages. The first one was a picture of me sitting in the lunchroom at school. The second was a video taken when the bell rang, and everyone, including me, started to get up and leave. Owen had zoomed in on me and recorded me walking out of the lunchroom. The caption at the bottom of the video read, "You're cute, lol." I was creeped out, to say the least. I considered removing him from my friends list right then and there, but for some reason I didn't. Maybe it was because I didn't want to hurt his feelings, or maybe I was just too shocked to act. That night, as I was lying in bed, I got another message from Owen. This time it was a text. "You live on Maple Street, right?" I froze. I didn't remember ever telling him where I lived, and there was no reason for him to know. I replied with a simple yes. He responded immediately with, "Cool, I'm nearby." That's when I started to really worry. I decided not to open any more of his messages for the rest of the night, hoping he would lose interest. The next morning, I woke up to something disturbing. My bedroom window was wide open, and so was my closet door. I knew for a fact that I hadn't opened either of them. The room was freezing, and I felt a chill run down my spine. I picked up my phone and saw several new notifications from Owen. My hands trembled as I opened them. The first snap was a picture of a sidewalk, taken the previous night. The next one was a picture of my house. Then there was a picture of my bedroom window, followed by a shot of me sleeping in my bed. The final picture was of Owen standing inside my room, taken from the closet. My heart pounded as I read through the messages he'd sent. "Answer me, why are you ignoring me?" And then, "I'm going to come visit you, lol." The last message read, "I found you through SnapMap. I hope you don't mind. I think you're cute." I was horrified. I immediately took screenshots of the conversation and showed them to my parents. They were in disbelief, but once they saw the messages, they took it seriously. My dad called the police, and what followed was a full-blown investigation. It turned out that Elwin lived with his single father, who had a history of alcoholism. The evidence was enough to get Owen charged with juvenile breaking and entering. After that, no one ever saw Owen at school again. Rumor has it that he and his father moved far away, but I'll never forget how a simple social media app led to such a terrifying experience. For weeks after, I couldn't sleep properly. Every creak of the house, every rustle of leaves outside my window sent me into a panic. I started keeping my bedroom door locked at night, and my parents installed extra locks on all the windows. Even though Owen was gone, the fear that he or someone else could come back kept me on edge. My friends noticed I was different too, quieter, more reserved. I didn't want to tell them what had happened, but eventually I had to. They were just as shocked as I was, and many of them turned off their Snap Map feature right away. Even now, the thought of someone watching me, knowing where I am at all times, makes me feel sick. I learned the hard way that not everyone you add on social media is harmless. some people have darker intentions, and they're willing to go to great lengths to fulfill them. I've become much more cautious about who I interact with online, and I always double-check my privacy settings. But the memory of that night and the pictures Owen took will stay with me forever. I've been using Snapchat for a while now, mostly to share funny or interesting moments from my day with friends. But in high school, there's always that one kid who takes things too far, the one who seems to thrive on making others uncomfortable. At my school, that kid was named Ethan. He was known for pulling pranks that were more disturbing than funny, like leaving a dead rat in someone's locker. Ethan had always been a little off, with his pale skin, messy hair, and dark sense of humor. One afternoon, I got a notification on my phone while I was playing a video game. It was a Snapchat from Ethan. I didn't remember adding him, but I figured he might have found my username through mutual friends or on social media. I ignored it at first, but curiosity got the better of me, and I eventually opened his snap. It was a close-up picture of a door handle, specifically the lock, with the caption, "Hello." I was creeped out and took a screenshot of the picture. I asked him why he sent it, but instead of answering, he sent another snap. This one was a blurry photo taken through a window, looking into a house. My house. My heart dropped when I realized it was our kitchen. I ran to the kitchen window, hoping it was just some sick joke. But there he was, standing on our deck, laughing. I panicked and ran to the dining room, throwing open the door. Ethan was still there, but this time he was holding something behind his back. I demanded he leave, but instead, he slowly revealed what he was hiding, a knife. I slammed the door shut and locked it, yelling that I would call the police if he didn't leave. He just smiled at me, a chilling expression that made my blood run cold, and then he slowly walked off the deck. I didn't know what he planned to do, but I wasn't about to find out. I double-checked that all the doors were locked and called my parents. Later that night, I kept thinking about what might have happened if I hadn't locked the door in time. The whole experience left me shaken, and I couldn't stop thinking about how easily things could have gone wrong. The next day at school, Ethan acted like nothing had happened, but I made sure to avoid him as much as possible. I didn't want to know what other pranks he had in mind. But the story didn't end there. Over the next few days, I started noticing strange things happening around the house. I hear noises outside at night, like someone was walking around our yard. Once, I found the back gate open when I knew I had closed it. Another time, I saw footprints in the mud leading up to the side of the house. Each time, I convinced myself it was just my imagination or some neighborhood kids messing around. But deep down, I knew it was Ethan. One night, I woke up to the sound of tapping on my window. It was so faint at first that I thought it was just the wind, but then it became more insistent, like someone was deliberately trying to get my attention. My heart raced as I lay there, too scared to move. I didn't want to look, but something compelled me to do so. I slowly turned my head towards the window and saw a shadowy figure standing outside. It was Ethan, grinning at me through the glass. I shot out of bed and ran to my parents' room, waking them up in a panic. My dad grabbed a baseball bat and went outside to confront him, but by the time he got there, Ethan was gone. The next day, my parents called the school and the police. Ethan was suspended and given a restraining order, but that didn't make me feel any safer. I knew how unpredictable he was, and I couldn't shake the feeling that he would come back. For weeks, I couldn't sleep properly. I kept the blinds closed and the windows locked, and every night I would check and recheck the doors. My friends tried to comfort me, but the fear was always there, lurking in the back of my mind. Even now, I'm always on edge, wondering if Ethan is still out there, watching and waiting for the right moment to strike. This story started just 2 days ago, and it has me scared out of my mind. I tend to get a lot of random people adding me on Snapchat because I have my Snapchat linked to my Instagram bio. Not to brag, but I live a pretty exciting life, and I like to share it with my followers. So, when 2 random girls added me on Snapchat one rainy night, I didn't think much of it. Their usernames were Maya_Wilson and Jess_Riley. I added them both back out of curiosity. Their Snap scores were low. One had a score of 200, and the other had a few thousand. It seemed a little odd, but I figured they were new to the app or just didn't use it much. Not long after I added them, Maya sent me a snap. It was a black screen with the caption, "You're cute." I ignored it because it felt too forward, like someone was messing with me. Later, I checked the snap map and saw that both girls had their locations on. They were together, apparently in a car not too far from where I was. I still didn't think much of it. I needed to get home anyway. As the weather was getting worse, I jumped in my car and started driving. The rain was pouring down hard, making it difficult to see. The roads were nearly empty, so when a car pulled up behind me and stayed close for a while, I noticed. I got off the highway at my town's exit, and the car followed. Now I was starting to feel uneasy. I turned onto the street that led to my house, and the car was still behind me. I pulled into my driveway and turned off the car, trying to calm my nerves, but the car that had been following me slowed down and came to a stop right in front of my house. My heart was racing. I opened Snapchat again and checked the map. The two girls' Bitmojis were right on top of my house. Panic set in. I called the house phone, and my dad picked up immediately. I told him to come outside quickly. As I watched from the window, the car in front of my house started reversing, coming closer to the driveway. Just then, my dad stepped out onto the porch, and the car sped off. My dad looked around, clearly confused, and then came back inside. When I told him what happened, he was just as shaken as I was. But it didn't end there. That night, I woke up to noises outside my window, footsteps, the sound of leaves crunching, and the unmistakable sound of someone trying to open a window. My heart felt like it was going to explode out of my chest. I didn't dare move, too terrified of what might happen if I did. Then I heard it, a voice, low and threatening, saying, "I know you're awake. Don't move." It wasn't my dad. It wasn't anyone I knew. I lay there frozen as the footsteps slowly moved away. I heard a car start up and drive off. When I finally had the courage to get out of bed, I found my dad awake, pacing the hallway. He said he had seen the same car from earlier parked outside, and as soon as he went to check on me, it sped off. We're both on edge, scared to even go to sleep. My dad has already said he'll call the cops at the first sign of trouble. If anything happens tonight, I'll update you, but for now, we're just trying to stay safe. These experiences have made me rethink how much I share online and who I let into my digital life. Snapchat, Instagram, all of it. It can be fun, but it can also be dangerous if the wrong people get involved. I've learned that the hard way, and I hope others can learn from my mistakes without having to go through the same terrifying experiences. If you've made it this far, you're 100% a horror fanatic and we approve. If you love our campfire-themed horror storytelling experience, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads.